Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. I'm Roxanne Wilson, and today's topic, I just have to say it, like social media, what's the point? Anyway, maybe there's an anyway there too. You're probably wondering, wait, Roxanne, your whole podcast is about social media. How on earth, how dare you talk about what the point is? Well, I think that based on just things that are happening in life today, these days, it's very important for me to get you right back to the basics of why you're on social media anyway as a network marketer and how you can leverage it. So we're going to dive in just one moment. It's back, y'all. I am so excited to tell you. And if you've been listening to Roxtalks, you already know that the Social Media for Network Marketers Summit is back in a big way. And it's literally less than a month away. Can you believe it? I am so excited for you. If you're like, what the heck is that? What is that, you ask? Very good question. It's an opportunity for you to hear from the top leaders in all things social media to help you grow your business. People are still raving about how wonderful and how influential and impactful last year's summit was. So of course, I had to bring it back. In fact, I'll tell you a little secret. I literally was like, okay, I made it through. It's done. And I was getting messages saying, can't wait for next year. I'm like, oh, next year? How the heck am I going to top this year? Well, I am already happy to tell you that we have topped last year's summit with what we have in store for you in less than a month. If you want to be first in line to get access to this amazing and free, I might add you, summit, simply go to socialnetworkmarketersummit.com, socialnetworkmarketersummit.com, and get on the waiting list so you'll be first to get in line for all the goodies. Social media, what's the point anyway? There's probably a chance that you, even before everything that's been going on lately, has sat there and pulled your hair out about having to be on Facebook, having to be on Instagram, or whatever social media platform you use. You may even have had someone special and close to you sit there and say, what are you doing just playing on Facebook? You're playing on Instagram. Scott says that to me. I'm like, do you know what I do? Seriously? And he just says it tongue in cheek, but he says it anyway. The truth of the matter is, we don't own social media. And if you've forgotten that, you've probably noticed just based on things that have happened in the last week, but really the last week in national news. But if you were paying attention last month, TikTok banned network marketers because they have the right to do that. They own it. And as you can see, others and others have been banned from certain platforms, or platforms have gone away. What I've said from day one to all of you, and this, I'm someone who loves social media. I love me, obviously, some social media. But what I've said, and I've said it, and I've said it till I don't know how I could get blue, but being blue in the face, have told you and I tell you again, you do not own social media. If Mark Zuckerberg one day decides that he is tired of Facebook and Instagram, some of you are saying good riddance. Oh no, but you do use a platform when you need it. If he says, I'm taking it away, he can take it away and there's nothing you can do about it. If Microsoft says, LinkedIn, I'm done with you. You're gone. There's nothing you can do. We feel like we own these platforms because frankly, we stay on them a long time. A lot of our day goes into it. Even without our business, we spend a lot of time with our social media. And what happens when you spend a lot of time on anything? You feel like you own it. You feel ownership to it. If Google one decides that they're done with YouTube and takes it away, what happens to all your videos? Just curious. If Facebook says, hey, what happens to all that content you've been working on and poring over for years and years and years? Some of you use social media as a photo album, and then all my family and friends can see it around the world. What happens if your account gets shut down or the platform goes away? Guess what happens? You lose it all. I'm not here to be mean. I'm here to tell you the truth, and I've been saying this for years. The reason I'm telling you this is because we think that this free platform that we have access to is ours, and it's not. Now, should we use it and leverage the heck out of it to grow our businesses? Yes, please, and thank you. Twice on Sundays, we're doing that. But if you have ever had this false sense of security that you own that platform, by Jove, I'm here to remind you that you're wrong. You're wrong. So what do we do with that? You could get mad. You could be like, that's not fair, but really they're privately owned. They can do whatever the heck they want. And I'll go one step further. When you sign on to use it, you actually sign, the terms and conditions. How many of you actually read them? Yeah, that's thought. Hands go down. One person way in the back said, I did. Most people do not read them. But you read, but what they say is they have the right to refuse to give and take away. Whether you think that's fair or not matters not to this conversation. What matters is what you're going to do about it. See, here's what I know to be true. Even when the algorithms change, the algorithms change when they feel like it and they tell us when they want to, and woe is us. The key to all of the social media platforms, all the things coming and going, is to get on the platform, to figure out what the rules of engagement for that particular day. And yes, there are days on Instagram and Facebook where I feel like the rules of engagement change on the daily, but you figure out what the rules are. Then you put on your strategery hat and you ask yourself, how can I use the rules of engagement to leverage my business? You figure that out, which can take more than a day. Take time to figure that out. And then you use the heck out of social media and the rules of engagement as they stand to grow your business. And then when things change, you move on. You change with it. You change with the algorithm. You change with rules. But here's the thing, and this is where network marketers, we have gotten complacent. And I thought that maybe when the algorithms changed and all of a sudden when you posted things on Facebook on your personal profile, like people weren't seeing them except for your other people in your company, and you're like, what the heck? I thought that maybe we'd gotten the hint, or when they changed groups, I thought we'd gotten the hint, but we hadn't. Y'all, you don't own it. So if your entire business is on social media, I say foul. This is me, queen of social media, who loves teaching and empowering you to be the CEO of you. And what do I always tell you? Social media, you build out your social media platform. What am I doing right now with my Social Stories members? And they're all ramped up because it's the beginning of the year, getting through the blueprint to build out their social media platform on whatever social media platform they want to be on, to build out their funnel, build out your funnel. And you know what happens at the end of the funnel? Top of the funnel, you're getting people in, they like, no one trusts you, you're sliding in their DMs, you're having conversations. Then you get them on your list. I can talk, really I can. I'm getting really animated. You get them on your list. If you are spending time on social media and you are just hanging out with people on social media and you're not getting them on your list, then I say foul. And I got news for you. Your list is not, they bought my product, they join me in business. Yes, that's list building, but you want to get even the people who are not currently buying your product or not currently joining you in business on your list. For those of you who've been poo-pooing and shaming and saying down with email, it's time for you to get back on get over whatever issues you have with email. If you don't love email, that's okay. But guess what? Your target market probably does. The big companies wouldn't be using emails if they didn't. Look at Nordstrom. I would venture to bet. I haven't asked Nordies, but I would venture a guess that Nordstrom has a large target market, and that your target market, hopefully yours is drilled down, is in their target market. There are people of all ages, races, size, colors, creeds shopping at Nordstrom. And what does Nordstrom do? They use email. So someone in there is reading their emails, and they use it a lot, right? Now, you might be like, Roxanne, my demographic does not read email. I would say maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong. I would ask you, if you have go through my free email challenge. It's a 30-day email challenge. And no, you're not doing 30 days of emails, I promise. But you need to actually go through the process of sending out emails and sending them out for at least 90 days, for a quarter, before you can say, and really doing it and leaning into it before you can actually say that your target market doesn't like emails. Most people who tell me that, when they start talking more and more, I realize they tell me, well, I don't like emails, so I just assume they don't. But you don't know that. You don't know that. And frankly, if Facebook and Instagram went down, how are you contacting them? Now, does that mean you can't build your list in other ways? You surely can. Maybe you want to text. Maybe texting. You can do that. I'm down with the texting. That's awesome. But you still have to get their phone numbers. How many people, just out of curiosity, how many people are following you on your Instagram? For those of you Instagrammers, if you're on Facebook, okay, how many people are you friends with? Because you may not have a business page yet, but I want you to have one. Or how many people are on your business page? Look at those numbers. Now, my question for you is this: how big is your list off of social media? How many of those people do you have their email address or their phone number for? And then the list dwindles. Even in a perfect world where social media stays and lasts forever and we're able to use it in so many different ways, you know that it is so vitally important for you to be having communication about your product, about your brand, your personal brand, and your product in different ways, right? Think about it. There is a reason why when you go and you look at those really cute UGG boots, on Nordy's, it follows you around the internet till one day you're like, I'm going to buy it, because they know the more you see it, the more you're going to buy it. The more you're going to be like, I'm on. Now, you may not be in a network marketing company where you can do advertising. I'm not saying do paid advertising, but you can do organic advertising. Yes, you can. You can do organic advertising by sending out emails, by sending out text messages, as well as your social media, doing all the different things on social media, on whichever platform, if you choose one, and just rock that. You can do that. But the only way you can do that is if you have people on your list. So what does that mean for people who are like, I'm not there yet, Roxanne? I get you, but I'm still trying to figure out the nuances of Facebook and Instagram. I'm still trying to figure out Facebook Lives. I'm trying to figure out Reels and Stories. I'm not there yet where I am ready to do emails in a way where I'm making sure that I'm sending out emails and building a list. Here's what I have to say to you. That's okay. That is fine. You can still it's better to build a list that just sits there and you don't contact in that way than to not build one at all. So my challenge to you would be to ask yourself, what even like rudimentary ways can you use to build your list now? What can you offer? Like, listen, if you're in Tastefully Simple, hey there, or Pampered Chef, okay, or Scout and Cellar. You hear I'm going like food network marketing companies. Here's what I gotta tell you. Or even if you sell like coffee or tea, if you give me a great recipe that you love, that may or may not have your product listed, maybe you're showing it off. This is an easy peasy. Give me, okay? You post the food itself, like the awesome recipe, and be like, oh my gosh, we just had the crumb cake or the cake, whatever it is, a queso, and I put all these things in it. We just had it was amazing, and you have a picture of you and it, or just it. What usually happens, just out of curiosity, when you post good food that was made from home, what usually happens? Well, what usually happens is people go, give me the recipe. I need that recipe. This also goes for those of you who are like in Modere or Isogenics, and your company has some type of like trim or Arbonne, like you've got some type of like weight loss wellness type thing. Of course, Shakeology, you as well. So think about this. People want that. There are people out there that are like, oh, I want that recipe. So what do you typically do? Now, some of you, I've asked this question before, you're like, well, it's on Instagram. So I'll do the first picture will be either the recipe or the food. And the second picture, I'll do a carousel and it'll be the recipe. Stop. Don't do that. No, on contrary, or I'll just give them the link. Don't do that either. You know what you can do? Even rudimentary, even if you don't have an email system or all the things, you can say, drop me a note if you want that recipe, or DM me. And when they DM you, like, I want it. Awesome. Hey, what's your email address so I can send it to you? Get their email address. And then even if you, again, don't have a system, you can one by one for now, don't do that forever, but for one by one, send them the recipe, just recipe via email, PDF, picture, whatever. Or say, what's your phone number? And I'll text it to you. Now, it's a little weird because if they're like, well, you have DM, just DM it to me. So that's why I think the email will work better in this regard. Okay. And I'll email to you. Now, what happens then? You take those emails and you start making a list. Even if you use paper, make thyself a list. If you have a CRM like Penny app or something, use that, or Doe, put it in there. Okay, you have those are, put it in there and make sure you tag how that person came to your list. Voila, you've just built your list. I didn't say you had to get a landing page. I didn't say you had to have a lead gen. I didn't say you had to have an email system. Look at an autoresponder. Look at all the things I didn't say you had to do. You can do it. So if you think I can't do it because I'm not XYZ, I'm not there yet, you can do it right where you are. Even if you write it down in a book, and you just put them there and go, one day my prince will come and I'll work on this. That's fine. You're building your list. That is 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 more people who would not be on your list had you not done that. It's that simple, y'all. Can you hear my dog? Oh, I guess you can't hear me. You can see her though if you're watching on YouTube or on the podcast page. I want you to really be thinking like a CEO. And you thinking like a CEO means you're not expecting everything to be handed to you. You're not expecting that you're just because you join your company, they're supposed to give you everything and tell you everything. They can't, they don't know how to. It's not the way that it works. You're not expecting that just because you decided to use social media to grow your business, that voila, you own it and they are supposed to do whatever you want them to do. Because guess what? They won't. And they will upset you. And that is okay. Your company's going to upset you. That's okay. You work with it and you leverage what you've got. You're shaking what your mama gave you. So remember that even where you are right now, you can build out your list and you need to build out your list. I don't like to use the word need, but you need to. Okay. Now, if you're like, Roxanne, actually, I'm ready for an email system. I'm ready for these things. Then I'm going to put in on the page some links to my favorite, or you can simply go to socialstoriesmembership.com and click on the resources tab. Those are a few of my favorite things. So those are like, if you're looking for an email system, I got the goods there, the details for you there. If you're looking to do more with that, you can grab those there. But I just showed you and told you how you can just do it just as you are. Never think that you're not able to make it happen. And remember, we're going to use social media for as long as we can use social media. Then we're going to pivot. So TikTokers, maybe you're like, great, I can't talk about my network marketing company on TikTok. That's fine. You're talking about your brand. That's what you've been learning here anyway. Talk about your brand. Get people to follow you for your brand, as in your brand, not your company's brand, because that's not a brand, your personal brand. Then you're getting those people on your list and you're able to then talk to them about different things, right? So just because TikTok has said no network marketing, that means you can't be talking about network marketing and be trying to recruit in that way. That doesn't mean you're off of TikTok. They change the rules of engagement. And so you read them, you apply them, figure out how to work it, and then you shake what your mama gave you. Okay? Social media. What's the point? The point is, it is an amazing tool that will help you grow your business if you understand the rules of engagement, understand the algorithms, understand why you're on there, which is not for that to be your personal Rolodex. It's to go to the bar. Just, you know how I like to say, like, listen, social media, network marketing is like dating. Remember back when we did that? And what do? You go to the bar to meet the guy. You don't stay at the bar with the guy. You meet the guy at the bar or the girl at the bar. Then you get their digits. That's getting them on your list, or you give your digits so that you can then have a relationship off of or out of the bar. And that's where the marriage happens. That's how it works. First comes love, then comes marriage. That's how it works. Okay. I should change that rhyme. So understand that social media is the bar. Does the bar upset you? Yes. Sometimes the bar made you stand in line. I didn't do lines, so I refused. Sometimes the bar says it's time to go. Sometimes maybe you've gotten a little rowdy and you have to leave a little bit earlier. The bar has its rules and you may not like it, but the bar can do what it wants. You go to the bar to meet people, and those people may then be in your life more intimately, but not at the bar, right? You get them off the bar and onto your list. Okay. All right. That's your strategy. We will be right back with a little behind the scenes. So it is officially the 12th. Oh my goodness, we're almost halfway through January. And I can't say that 2021 has been what I don't know what I thought it would be. But what I do know is this. I know that I've been calling the last 12 days like 2020's after party. Like 2020 had its fun. And I was like, let's go to the after party at the hotel. And I'm like, after party, you got to go. No more, you got to go. But right now I'm in the throes of Summit. In fact, next week, I'm going to be working on a lot of Summit. It's going to be all things Summit. It's going to really, my next couple weeks will be in the throes of Summit. Don't worry, I'll still have time for you. But I also right now in the middle of, tomorrow will mark day 3 of the 5-day Superpower Challenge. When I came up with the Superpower Challenge, it was, I did it because I felt there was a need. People were like, I don't know what my superpower is. And I was like, we need to work on that. But what's been amazing is seeing how many people really just don't know, but y'all are leaning into it in such a great way, which I am loving. And you're diving in and really getting clear on this. What is going to happen is that once that superpowers is defined, that is the beginning of the messaging and the content and all things on social media and really your brand. So I'm so, and I haven't used the word brand. I slipped and used the word brand during the Facebook live today. I was like, did I say it? I did, which is fine. But what I think, where I'm taking them is realizing that they are actually uncovering their brand, their personal brand, which is so exciting. So that's been fantastic. And also, by the time you've listened to this, welcome to a new Social Stories member. So that's been fantastic as well too. Just seeing that happen and culminate, and it'll be wonderful. That's kind of that is happening. What I wanted to tell you, there's something I wanted to tell you that was going on. Oh my goodness, I forgot. I lost it. I'll tell you next week. But there are a lot of exciting things that are coming on the horizon. Oh, also, Katie Farrow came in, and I know I've got to get her on the podcast in some way, shape, or form here pretty soon. But Katie Farrow, she's a CPA and a guru at all things bookkeeping. She joined me last week, or let me just talk like it's the day that I'm recording it, because it's weird when I say that. In 2 days, she's joining me for the first of what I am happy to call the CEO of You series, which is going to be a speaker series, really, a training series that I'm offering for free for people, for network marketers, obviously, because there's some fundamental things that we are just not taught that we need to be taught. And one of the fundamental things that we're not taught is our money. We want to make money. We want to raise, that's like we're in business, but we don't even really know how to count our money or know if we're making money. Too many times I see network marketers literally give the farm away to get a sale. Then they get their paycheck and they don't realize they actually spent more money than they made. Or do you even realize like how much money you're spending on whatever the maintenance fees are for your company? Do you even know, are you keeping track of when to do that and when not to make sure that you are making money, you aren't? So I thought, let me bring in Katie Farrow, who has definitely helped me with my business, just keeping track of all the things. And of course, as an entrepreneur and network marketer, that means your taxes are a little different, aren't they? And keeping track of that so that the end of the year, or the beginning of the year when you're doing your taxes, you're not like, so she's coming in to start that out. And I don't mind telling you all that she's going to come back in again next month to do a little continuance of it. So I'm very excited. I know some of you are like, oh, I don't want to talk money, but we need to. We need to know how and what and why. And that's where the power happens. I was talking to someone who one of my clients, and she was like, wow, it was empowering and life-changing to actually know and realize and be able to see whether I was making money or not, and to be able to say I'm profitable. And so she wasn't initially, and she's like, she made herself a goal where in the 6 months she was going to be profitable. And so she was able to go within 6 months to say, I am profitable and I am making money in my business. That's a powerful thing. And we need to have that awareness, and we need to do that. So that'll be fantastic. Baylor's whining, and it's like when a baby whines and the mom's like, can hear it. Like when she whines, I'm like, I can't even focus. So that means I probably need to wrap it up. But I want to just remind you, you guys, you are phenomenal and you're doing great things. January can be a little bit of a where am I? What do I do now type thing, as we talked about last week. But I want you to give yourself grace. Know that you're doing well, and don't worry about what you haven't done. Focus on what you're doing right now, because you're doing great, my dear. I'm going to tell you, you're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Roxtalks. I will see you next week for another great episode. Oh, and I'll actually let you know what happened with Clubhouse then too. All right, you guys take care. Bye.